Oh, well, hello, everybody. um, I don't know about you all, but if you guys are in the throes of testing and pacing around a room and counting ceiling tiles and how many untied shoes are in your classroom, kudos to you all because you guys are doing the hard work right now. It's like the death march. I think SAT is tomorrow. Is that right? And then CMAS should hopefully be ending soon. So hopefully there's an end in sight for all of this because I know this time of year is just like drudging on and on. And yeah, it's just so hard. So let's go ahead and jump into our session. We will end. I'm going to try to end by 7:30 tonight just because you all are tired and it's almost the end of the year. So we all know the chaos of that. So with that, let's jump right in. Tonight we'll do our same thing, a self-care strategy, something to give your mentee, and then something you can use as well. We're really going to talk about co-teaching and the impact it can have for new teachers' classrooms. And then we're going to try something new tonight, and we're going to collaborate on one Google slide presentation and just really make like a step-by-step process of what co-teaching should look like, and then reflect on something that we've learned this year. So it shouldn't take too long, but I hope it becomes a really great resource for you all to keep. And that way you have it for next year or to pass on to another mentor about the whole co-teaching process. And then, yeah, we'll just continue to set goals, which I think our main goal right now is to survive. Yeah, hopefully all of us survive this time of year right now. So I really appreciate you guys being here tonight. So I'd love to hear the funniest thing a student or coworker has ever said. Now, I actually have a whole quote page on my phone of things that mostly students have said, but some of them are adults. But it's just strange things that have come out of kids' mouths. So I'll share one of mine. I was a social studies middle school class, and it was time to take a quiz to prepare for a test. And I set this kid up, and it was my fault. But I was just trying to be funny. And so I was like, hey, guys, today we're going to take a quizzical. And then this kid yelled out, oh, does that mean we're going to be ready for our test? And then it rhymed with quizzical. So that poor kid said that word in front of everybody, and I shouldn't have set him up by that. But yeah, it was a funny thing a student said. So if you want to use a microphone, feel free to. Otherwise, I'd love for you to type it in the chat box, just funny things that our students have said. Or a coworker. Coworkers can be just as funny. Trying to see what other ones I've got.
I just had a student yesterday tell me that, or actually this morning, tell me that birth certificates are really just baby receipts.
It's true. Oh, man. But if they only told you how much you're going to end up spending on that baby until they become an adult, that would be the kicker.
That's the most expensive receipt ever.
Yes. Thanks for sharing that, Christian. Let's see, I've got another one. I'm googly challenged.
So we're of course in testing season, as you just mentioned, and one of our secretaries actually ended up we had to call the ambulance to come because she was having some heart issues, and she came in and the ambulance was there, and a couple of the kids ran up to the principal and said, oh my gosh, is she so stressed because of testing? Is the testing stressed her out? So they assumed that she was having issues because of testing. So,
oh my gosh. And then I bet they're thinking, if I get stressed out enough and get an ambulance, will I get out of testing?
Probably.
Oh,
these are kids that don't even notice anything. So the fact that they even noticed was something.
Yeah, it's cute they cared. I love it. 6-year-old. Well, let me break it down for you when asked what an adaptation is. That's going to be some like future genius scientist or something.
I also had my first year of teaching was second grade. And I had a situation in the classroom where kids were being ridiculous and they all stopped. And one kid just walked by and he was like a philosopher. He was just like, "It's all right, Mr. Eves. Everybody's got a little bit of stupid in them." And I'm like, "Oh, no, thank you. Yes, we do, but appreciate it." Let's keep that to yourself.
That could almost be a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love it. Elementary AP went and talked to a fourth grade class last week about where to poop appropriately. Oh my gosh. When she asked that, he said, "You're retiring, right?" That's adorable. Tooth fairy named Skyla. That's my mom's name. Oh man, kids, when they discover Santa Claus and Tooth Fairy in your class, you're like, what am I supposed to say to this? Yeah. Teacher asked why he kept leaving. He said, "I guess I just have a drinking problem." That's awesome. I love it. That's amazing. Yeah, kids say the funniest things. I've always said that when I retire, I'm going to print all of these quotes on a t-shirt because then I can put it all out there. But yeah, kids say the funniest things. And it's sometimes that stress relief you need, like with the whole ambulance team with Jennifer. Oh my gosh. But yeah, is she so stressed? That's amazing. I love that. Well, good. Well, tonight we're really going to dive into the co-teaching part of the course. Now, this wasn't really addressed in the book. The unit really goes over the 4 stances of mentoring and just reminds you about the viewpoint you should have while co-teaching, because it can be difficult. Sometimes mentees hear that, or excuse me, mentees hear that and think, oh, like they're going to do the work for me. But yeah, that's not necessarily true. So we're going to get into modeling and all of that good stuff. But for right now, I would love to do a little bit of modeling for you. Not myself. You guys are going to model for those that you work with. The best way to lead is by example. And I feel like at this time of year, everyone could use an encouraging word. So I'm going to give you about 2 minutes to go over to your work email. Hopefully you have that. If not, you can send a personal email, but really try to find a colleague that you've noticed has gone above and beyond or is having a really hard time. Or maybe your mentee, you're just like, they're about to snap. I'm afraid they're going to quit, and they might need an encouraging word. Take a minute right now and send someone an email, a funny meme. "Thank you for working hard," or "You set a great example for your students," whatever it may be. Go ahead and do that right now. You have about 2 minutes to send an encouraging email to a coworker. All right. Thanks for sending out that email just to model servant leadership through encouragement. You never know what a difference that email can make. Maybe someone was just about to give up or just having the worst day of their life, and now they're going to get that amazing email from you. or someone that's going above and beyond and thinking, does anyone notice? And then they get this email from you. I love this quote as well. Take a picture of it if you want to. It's a great one, I think, for new teachers, thinking back to what they couldn't do at the beginning of the year and now what they can do and how much strength they have as an educator. I did post an announcement in Schoology, but I want to reemphasize, all coursework is due by May 31st. I grade usually on Fridays and Saturdays. And so if you submit something on a Saturday, it might not get graded till the following week. But I am going through the grade book every week to clear out missing assignments and make sure I'm getting all of that there. So feel free to work until 11:59 p.m. on May 31st. And then you guys will get the lovely certificate of completion and you will have accomplished a big thing. This is a big class. And then just so you know, the final project, it's worth 40% of your grade. And people are like, what is this thing? It's only the mentor handbook you've been working on. So if you've been working in each unit, by the time you get to unit 9, all you'll have to do is the unit 9 part, and then you're done. Some of you have been just submitting each section alone, which is fine. But then that final project is all of it together. Make sure it's has that final edit completed. It's like your picture perfect final product. That's what the final project is. So pretty much everyone's guaranteed 100%. As long as you turn it in and edit your work, make it professional, you guys are good to go. Are there any questions right now about the course, work, concerns, anything like that that I can help you with? And Courtney, we actually had a counselor who was like 22 at middle school, and a student walked up to them and said, I thought you were a teenager because you have so many zits. It's like, oh my gosh. Okay, let's take that as a moment of, that's something you keep to yourself. It was awful. I felt so bad for her. But yeah, kids are brutally honest. Yeah. All right. So let's jump into co-teaching. Now, a lot of the unit content goes over this, but I did want to dive into a few aspects of it. So there's a lot of benefits to co-teaching with your mentee. However, this can perhaps be the most difficult task you'll ever complete, mostly because you have to set aside so much time to do it. There's all these different parts of it and processes, and you really have to be in a place where you can engage and collaborate. And a lot of times that's hard to do when there's classes waiting and grades waiting and all these different other tasks to do. So co-teaching is very difficult, but it does have one of the greatest rewards because it's instant feedback, practice, all that great stuff. So co-teaching really allows you to model best practices and set an example of strong teaching, no matter what type of co-teaching you choose to do. So let's say during lesson planning, you can model how to create objectives, determining specific outcomes, and even showing your mentee how to find reliable resources. That can be difficult. Maybe they don't use any technology or too much technology, and you have to model how to balance that in a class. And then you consider differentiation as well. So lots of things to think about during planning. You may just choose one or two of those things to tackle, but still it takes some time to plan the lesson with your new teacher. Then the teaching part of co-teaching begins, it kind of begins during planning, but there's several methods you can attempt in co-teaching. Now, again, in the unit, in the course content, there's an article that goes over, I think it's like 6 or 7 different ways to co-teach. But they go from super passive to super engaged. So the most passive co-teaching approach is one teach, one observe. And I don't know if any of you have done this before, but basically your mentee will sit and watch you teach their students. That's the key. They can't come into your classroom. It's important that they see you working with their students because that's when they can go, oh, like that does work with Johnny, or I had never considered that for, Amanda to work that way. So that way they see how it could work with their class and not just a random group of kids that don't even know. And then, another one moves on to team teaching. And this can be the most engaging because it draws on the strength of both people. This does take the most planning because you have to figure out what each other's strengths are, who wants to do which part of the lesson, and so on. But it really allows the mentor and mentee to participate and work together equally. And like I said, there's more to explore in Unit 8, but those seem to be the most common, from most passive to most engaged. Yeah, I think that the co-teaching one, or team teaching, is really valuable because you don't have to do the whole lesson yourself. And then they can watch you, you can watch them. So it gives you both a chance to observe and provide feedback. But again, like I said, it requires a lot of planning. Outcomes are a very important part of co-teaching because we have to ensure that every lesson objective is accomplished through student work. So many times our new teachers can be great at setting objectives. In class, I will blank. And then you watch their lesson, you see you taught it, but they never really demonstrate mastery of that skill. Or they kind of go on a tangent and demonstrate a different skill. So really teaching them how to focus on outcomes. If you meant for students to wind up being able to subtract 2-digit numbers, then what is the outcome going to look like? Did it actually accomplish that objective? And really being intentional about that during co-teaching or even any observation. Reflection is another powerful part of co-teaching. This is your time to ask questions, really get into those 4 stances of mentoring with coaching and collaborating, all of that, what worked and what didn't. And hopefully by this time of year, they're really able to reflect on themselves with some great insight because they have experience now. They know what works and what doesn't work. They know some strategies that don't work with their class, but then on some days they do. Like, it's just, we're teaching humans. It's all kind of a guessing game when we show up, but allowing that reflecting time. And then implementing co-teaching can be difficult because a lot of schools and leaders don't really believe in this mentoring method. They like the drop in, observe, and reflect. And they feel like, this is a lot of schools, I hope it's none of yours, but I worked at a school that believed this, that if a mentor goes in and co-teaches, it usually means the mentor is doing the work and the mentee gets a break from teaching, which we all know is not true. It's an engaging piece of collaboration and coaching and reflection. So implementing it can sometimes be a battle. Even just asking for protected time. Like, hey, you know what? This month I'd like to co-teach with my mentee, but I need 1 hour every Tuesday and every Thursday this whole month. And I need that set aside and protected. Meetings can't come up. Nothing can come up during that time. That can be a struggle sometimes as well. And then even like involving admin on, how would you see implementing co-teaching? And that sometimes gets their buy-in because now they have a voice in it. So there's some key stages and then the important part of implementation. But really the foundation of co-teaching is inquiry. If we're planning with a mentee, asking them the questions about how they do it. Have they considered? Would they like to try? Would you rather do this or that if we're team teaching? It really empowers them in each stage to be putting the thinking on them. And that's that 4th stance of mentoring, which is coaching, the most important one. So we're there to guide them through modeling and setting a strong example. We want the work and the thinking to really fall on them so that they truly understand what the process of it was and what they can learn from. Any questions so far? Feel free to just pop those in the chat box. I did want to throw this up there just as a reminder. You'll need this for our activity. So if you want to take your phone out and take a picture of the screen right now, that might come in handy for you because you're going to identify some stances you could take during the co-teaching process. I can also actually, let me just give you a link to the presentation and then you can have that open while you're working. Let's just do it that way. So keep these in mind, beginning at calibrating all the way down to coaching, and consider this as you work on this next project. And I'm really excited to try this with you. I know my high school students loved it. I've worked with a couple of groups that really liked it because it puts the learning on them and it's not like sit and get. And also it's going to provide you guys a great tool at the end to use when you all leave. So basically, you all are going to divide into groups of like 5 or 6 people. And all of you are going to participate in the process of creating this. Actually, let me just do this. I'm going to just go open up and show you what we're doing. If you are a Friends fan, you're an automatic bestie of mine because all of my quotes that I say are Friends quotes. So if you don't know Friends, this is typical Joey. He says the weirdest things. But what I'd like to show you is how this presentation works. So we're going to have 5 breakout rooms, about 5 to 6 people in each room. And if you're in breakout room 1, you'll be pink, 2, blue, and so on. And you'll see like right here, this is the pink group's work. And all of the headings are in pink, just in case you're wondering, where does ours stop and where does the next groups begin? And then here's the blue group. Oh, that's okay, Courtney, no worries. No problem. And then blue group has the titles in blue and they have the work. Everybody has the same work, except the co-teaching part is a little bit different for each group. So for instance, the blue group is going to focus on the teaching phase of co-teaching. And I give some instructions right here. There's an article they can even reference. And then the group will compose their plan right here. You're welcome to duplicate this slide if you need more room to write out your plan for your stage of co-teaching. But that's the only different part, is each of you have a different stage of that. You all do start off with back to the basics. 5, each of you will write out a piece of advice for new teachers, the most basic, like back to August kind of advice. And if you have 6 people, feel free to just add number 6 to that. And then as you see, it goes on to the green group and the orange group and then the purple group. Each breakout room has their own set of slides. And as you can see, the green group is about outcomes. And you write a plan about how to plan out outcomes for co-teaching. So one other thing I want to give you is that when you guys go out to breakout rooms, sometimes when people have been leaving the breakout room to come back and ask me a question, they can't get back into their breakout room. So if you're in your group and you have a question, I want you to send me a text and text me your question, and then I can write you back your answer. That way you guys aren't stuck or you get kicked out of your room and you can't get back in. Are there any questions about what I'm asking you to do right now? Whoops. Here we are. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you this new tool. I don't know if you guys have seen this yet, but you know how like when you're making your classes and you want to throw in a really cool like GIF or an image and you have to go over to Google and find it? It's actually in here now. So if you go to insert and then image, whoops, you go over to GIFs and stickers and you can search in Google right there and just pop it right in from there. So feel free to use that. And we're going to work on this for about, I'd say 30 minutes, and then we're going to wrap up the class and we'll be finished. If you do finish early, feel free to use that time to take a break. Otherwise, let me go ahead and send you guys the presentation, and then I'll send you to your breakout room. So don't start working until you see which breakout room you're in. But go ahead and open up the presentation using the link on the doc. All right, let me open up the breakout rooms. All right, hope you guys have my phone number, so you guys can text me if you have any questions. There is the presentation. Ooh, lots of people are already in it. Fantastic. And I will be here if you need me.
Hi, Adrienne. This is Hovland. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I have had a tremendous amount of tech problems,
Oh, goodness.
and I'm trying to switch screens right now, so I'm hopefully going to be successful this time around. So I just wanted you to know, and I can't get into my breakout room right now.
That's
but
okay.
I'm
I
gonna
haven't
see
opened
if
them
I
up
could
yet.
do it. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, Glad you're feeling better. All right, I'm going to open up the rooms. Happy working. Hovland, did a little thing pop up saying to join the breakout room?
I just timed out of it trying to get in on another site. Could you help me get back in?
Yeah, let me see here.
Okay.
Okay, see if some of this pops up now.
Okay.
No, I'm waiting until everyone comes back to start talking. I have had so much fun looking through all the slides you guys have composed. This one's cracking me up. I love it. Oh my gosh. Hopefully you guys are able to use that new insert GIF and image tool just right there, embedded in there. But yeah, I'm loving what I'm seeing. If you didn't have time in your group to get to your one slide about what you've learned, you can take a minute and do that, or don't even worry about it. The main part of this is the co-teaching pieces. So please be sure to bookmark this presentation. That way you have it. And then if you are someone watching the recording of this session, what I'd like you to do is reflect on something you've learned from this year, and then go ahead and choose one of the phases of co-teaching and write out a plan of what you would do. So that would be the reflection if you are working on the recording. On my screen, it's backwards, or like on your screen, it's backward.
So when I'm looking at the presentation, it's backwards.
What?
It's
That's
like
crazy.
mirrored.
Yeah. I don't know what that is. That's strange.
Maybe it's just me.
Maybe when I log out, like if I close it out, it'll do something. That's strange. Yeah. Well, you are now the lucky winner of having to read right to left. So congratulations. Throw a little curveball at you real quick.
It's all good.
Awesome. Thanks for your positive attitude. So if you want to go ahead and write in what you've learned and complete that slide real quick, that would be wonderful. But I am going to move on in the presentation just to wrap up today and give you guys some extra time this evening. Not sure my pictures aren't showing up. That's a little weird. So self-care challenges, we've had so many this year that we've learned and practiced. But this month is going to be about reframing your thinking. And actually, the whole point of this slide is kind of I want to go back. Here we go. The visual. So let me reload this real quick. There we go. So I saw this when I was on a school site last week, and it really made an impression on me. Watch your thoughts, for they become words. Watch your words, for they become actions. Watch your actions, for they become habits. Watch your habits, for they become character. And then watch your character, for they become your destiny. And I love that because everything begins with our thinking. If we start thinking that, oh, today's going to be an awful day, we're probably going to view the day as a pretty crappy day. It really determines our mindset. So to reframe your thinking, I would challenge you when you are thinking or saying out loud, I have to do something, I have to grade, I have to wash dishes, I have to vacuum, change it to I get to. I get to grade papers. I get to vacuum my house, because then it becomes more of a gratitude thing. Like, I bet there's people who would love to vacuum their living room just by having a living room. Or I'm sure there's people out there who would love to grade papers. Maybe they're, retired and miss it desperately, or just lost their job, or, they miss that interaction with kids or something. So when you start thinking, I have to do this, oh, I gotta do this, change it to I get to. And I've really been working on that the last couple of weeks with some tough stuff in life. And it really has changed my viewpoint to more of gratitude and being grateful for the things I get to do, no matter how painful they are. at least I'm healthy enough that I can walk across the street to pick up my dog's poop in my neighbor's yard, things like that. So instead of I have to, think of I get to. Also, your little strategy for your mentee, it's simple and it sounds kind of crazy to say, but remind them that it's still okay to have fun. There's testing and grading and the stress of finishing the year. There's so many reasons not to, but encourage them to just throw a funny picture up or ask their students to share their favorite YouTube video link and, have some fun in class with them. Laughter really does relieve that stress and continues to build that community. I do want to share one thing with you. You can definitely take this into next year as a tool. Let me find the link real quick. As you begin mentoring other new teachers or even for your own caseload. This is actually a spreadsheet that I made for a school with a high population of special education and 504 students. And really what it is there's 3 different tabs, and it's a basic way to summarize IEPs into usable information. So, let's say they have a disability of, muscular dystrophy. I had a student with that. So he had a scribe and he had certain accommodations of where he sat in the room. I would document that real quick and then move on to the next student. Maybe there's, ADD diagnosis or certain medications or allergies or something. But that way, when a teacher is planning, they can pull this up and go, okay, this is the differentiation I need for the curriculum or the presentation. Here's my 504 kids. Or there's kids you're like, I think they may eventually need an explicit plan, a 504 and IEP. Start collecting data of what happened, like behavior issues or struggles with reading, whatever it may be. That way there's one place to do this. So keep this and feel free to pass this on to your mentees or use that yourself because it really is a fun tool. And then last but not least, we won't watch this together just so you guys can get on with your evening, but I do want to send you a link to a really funny YouTube video. It's this teacher who is reading crazy things that parents have requested in schools. And then it's kind of her funny, honest response. She needs goblin tools to kind of censor those, right? But feel free to pass this on to your mentee as well, just to laugh about things and maybe have a conversation about some parents are literally nuts and they're always going to be out there. We just got to love their kids and laugh about it and move on. So a little tool for you there as well. So with that, I do want to leave you all this evening, give you some time to get outside before the sun sets. Don't blow away. It's super windy where I am, so probably where you are too, but don't blow away. I want to thank you all for your time. Thank you for your care and attention to getting all these students tested to get great data on the amazing things you all are doing at your school. Remember to bookmark that presentation. Yeah, I'm so honored to work with you all yet again. Happy working. Happy, what is it, Tuesday? So Wednesday Eve. Hooray. We get to go to work tomorrow and we get to work with our students in amazing ways. But with that, I want you all to have a fabulous evening, get some rest, and we'll have our final meeting in May. We may have a little party, so watch the updates for things you have to bring to the session. So have a wonderful evening, you guys. Thank you for your time and attention to your work. I appreciate you. You're welcome. Happy Wednesday Eve. You're welcome, guys. Thanks for being such amazing educators. You all are my heroes.
I am going to ask